Hey everyone, this is Ryder from YoGov and Skip, and I'm here with Isla. It's Friday, April 17th, and I wanted to do a video update to share important things from this past week um, about the stimulus program for individuals, about the small business programs, the PPP, EIDL. A lot's happened there, and there's a lot being talked about in terms of more relief and more stimulus funding. I'm going to get into that. I'm also going to talk about more options that are available and some of the things we're trying to do to help out. We're a mission-driven company, and our aim, I do these videos almost every day now, and we put a lot of videos and other resources on our website, both YoGov and Skip. Our aim is to help you as an individual, small business, get through this difficult time and answer your questions. And today is also my birthday. I'm quarantining on my birthday with Isla. It's just her and I hanging out. So if you do want to leave a comment and say happy birthday, that would mean a lot. Or upvote and subscribe as well. Let's try to make this birthday video great. Okay, so first thing I want to share with you is some of you may have seen there's a new proposal in Congress talking about distributing $2,000 to basically every adult in the U.S. $2,000 per month until we get back to pre-COVID-19 levels. It's lots of people have commented that this is kind of a nuts plan. Basically, if you look at that, that means that you, as an individual, could get $24,000 per year, or if you're a couple, you can get $48,000. Of course, if you have kids too, they're also eligible. So anyone over 16, you can be in college, you can be a student, and you can also be a dependent. Like those are big things that are proposed in the legislation. Again, this is not even in the Senate yet, but it's been proposed by a couple lawmakers, and everyone's talking about this because obviously that's a lot of money. It's basically having a full-time job. You'd have to earn $64,000 a year, and after tax to get that $48,000. Again, this money that's $2,000 per month would not be taxed. So it has a ways to go, but I think the main point that I want to get at is it illustrates that there is still a lot of stimulus money being talked about and debated, and there's no doubt that more will be passed. Exactly what that is, whether it'll be this $2,000 per person per month, or something like that, or something shorter term. They'll pass shorter term first, TBD. But since everyone is struggling, and with the latest unemployment numbers, 22 million people have filed in the past 4 weeks. That's almost 20% of the whole U.S. workforce. So given all of that, and given that projections predict that there will continue to be these large unemployment numbers in the coming weeks and months. I mean, most states are looking at potentially beginning of May or mid-May or later to kind of reopen or unpause, as some states are calling it, unpause the pause that we're on. So that's the stimulus money. But the good news is that hopefully many of you received the first part of the stimulus this week. So according to the IRS, 80 million people should have received their $1,200 or less checks by direct deposit this week. So Wednesday, April 15th was the date that the Treasury said that 80 million of these would be distributed. So hopefully you got that. Okay, I want to talk for a few minutes about the small business programs, the 349 small business program that has been depleted. That's their words. They have run out of funding. 250 billion additional money is being talked about in Congress, but nothing has been decided yet or approved, let alone nothing's in front of the president for the final sign-off. Some important information that was released last night about where did this money go. So we have some data, and the Treasury released some data. So first, I'm going to talk about our data based on our loan tracker. We had tens of thousands of people self-report on our helloskip.com website. You can go there and still self-report it's been great to see this because everyone's trying to understand, of these EIDL applications, there were over 3 million. How many of them were approved? So far, it's only been 2%. And we publish this data on our website. We've put it in another video in terms of some of the details behind that 2%. They're still approving. They're still approving these according to the SBA, these $10,000 grants up to $10,000, but it is still very slow, and most people are extremely frustrated that they haven't heard anything, and they may have applied over 2 weeks ago, and these are supposed to be 3-day disbursements, and most people have not heard anything. 98% of people have not received anything from the EIDL program. Now, the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, was the other big program that's also out of money that many businesses also applied for. The Treasury released some numbers. Who's received this funding so far? So 2 states received the majority of the funding. Not majority, but kind of they, by and large, had a large portion of this funding, Texas and California. And the types of businesses that had the most PPP funding were construction companies and manufacturers. Okay, the Treasury released this report. I'll add a link to this in the comments, by the way, so you can look at the report. There's about 6 pages of who received this funding. What is striking in this is that accommodation and food service businesses only received around 8% of this funding. So that's very striking. These are the businesses that were hardest hit. But for the Paycheck Protection Program, they only received around 8%. And, especially those are the employees that in many cases, would have been living paycheck to paycheck or close to that, and probably needed this the most. So I'm hopeful that they'll pass some new funding pool for these businesses, but I know time is the most important thing for all of these businesses and individuals and all of us. So what gets into my last point here, which is, okay, so if the government's run out of money and they're still debating new options, what can you do? And, there are loan options. We have partnered with Kiva. Kiva's a nonprofit. They've traditionally helped small businesses and solopreneurs or sole proprietors internationally around the world, but they're making a focused effort to help businesses in the U.S. during this very difficult time. We've partnered with them. I'll leave a link. They said that they'll prioritize people that we refer to them. They're a great mission-driven organization, and the terms will vary, but in general, these are zero-interest loans, and fund. As a micro lender, funded by many people you may know, kind of people in your community wanting to support businesses, and a lot of their terms can be 2 years repayment, potentially 6 months of deferment. So that's one good option. There are other good low interest options that exist. I'm going to link to some of those as well, and we're collecting more options too for you, because I realize that just waiting for these government stimulus, whether it's grant or loans, is frustrating, and you need something sooner. So again, kiva.org. I'll leave the link in the comments. And finally, I want to say we're doing a few other things. Besides the loan tracker, I announced yesterday we're previewing an unemployment tracker, because many of you are saying, okay, what options do I have right now? There's the stimulus as an individual, there's stimulus as a small business or sole proprietor that are like low interest or zero interest loans. There are private loan options, and there's unemployment, applying for unemployment. And 22 million people have applied for unemployment in the past 4 weeks. So we've started an unemployment tracker on our HelloSkip website, where you can self-report if you have applied for unemployment, what date you applied. And we also have links to your state unemployment as well as other resources. And we're going to start to share data on how many people that applied on or before your date have received their first check. So we're going to have more data on this over the weekend and next week. You know, each state has a different level of backlog. I just wanted to mention that again. We're doing more on our site to help, but I'll leave a link to the unemployment tracker in the comments as well. I want to say I hope you have a good weekend wherever you are, and thank you so much for your continued support and watching these videos. It means a lot to Isla and I, and we're gonna have a good birthday here, doing more content and information for you. I hope it's helpful. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks.